Hmm. Okay, Pastor Chooks. Hello, sir. How are you?
Very good, very good. JD, how are you?
I'm well. Welcome to Mazwi Ink. We are in the month of March. We are celebrating Women's History Month. Today it's I'm calling it a double header because I'm gonna be broadcasting two conversations and two interviews, as it were. So you are the second one. We are going to be talking about the power of woman, the power of woman. We're in the month of March, so we are celebrating Women History Month, focusing on the exploits, the powers of women, the weaknesses, the challenges they face, the model and how the Bible sees the feminine species and what the Bible would want them to be. A basic introduction, I'll ask you, say, to introduce yourself to my viewers and to my audience. Pastor Chooks, over to you.
Well, okay. Well, thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate. My name is Chuck Sugoye, and I'm a pastor. I'm a businessman. I'm a personal empowerment consultant. I'm a life coach. And I have a very strong passion to help women.
Yes, sir.
I wrote a book 5-6 years ago titled The Amazing Power of Woman. That book has literally changed lives around the world. And out of that book, a national conference that gathers women from all over South Africa has been born. A mentorship program has been born. A mentorship program that helps high impact women harness what God has put inside them and develop it. Seminars, multiple seminars and workshops. You know, we have a seminar for single ladies. We have another workshop also for married women. So quite a bit had, come out of this book and the revelations in this book. And so we have a big flowing of ministry out of the things that we have learned over time. So that's a short brief on who I am. I love to interact around God's word.
Before we delve into the whole conversation, the other time I was, I think the last time when I had a male guest who was speaking on women issues, a close sister of mine was almost querying, having a male person or a male figure comment or speak on or talk about issues that pertain to the feminine species. I mean, what do you have to say to our viewers and listeners who?
It's very interesting, I get that odd reaction, from time to time. But you know what? God calls people and puts an anointing upon them to do what needs to be done.
I hear you.
In the Bible,
regardless of gender.
Yes. In the Bible, God raised a woman called Deborah, and she led a nation and inspired male leaders. Male leaders followed her. Jesus is a male, but Jesus ministered to women a lot, and yet he was not a woman. So God can call and anoint anybody, whether it's a male or a female, to minister to anybody. That's just God. We have seen, men around the world who have pulled off very ministries to women. TD Jakes is an example. Pastor Chooks Sugoye is another example. I am not ashamed of my calling to minister to women. I'm not ashamed of the revelation that God has given to me to help women. So we'll continue doing the work that God has called us to do. So I get that odd reaction from time to time. In fact, when I organize my women's conference, in the month of August here in South Africa. You know, I get that reaction. How can a man be gathering this number of women? You know, how is that possible? But that shows you it's the grace of God.
I hear you.
It's the grace of God that we were able to gather women the way we gather them.
No, I hear you.
So yeah.
I hear you say.
Yeah.
Because of our time, let me just jump right into it. The power of woman. Your book is titled "The Amazing Power of Woman, Not a Woman." What's the difference?
Yes.
How is it so? I mean, what's the difference?
All right. So we when we say the amazing power of woman, we are talking about the female species. We're talking about the woman, not a woman, the women folk. There is a phenomena that we are trying to X-ray and understand, and that phenomena is called woman. That phenomenon is called woman. It's the female image of God. The female image of God, well developed, or the well developed female image of God is called woman.
Okay.
And that's what we are trying to X-ray. We found out that God invested tremendous amount of power in that being called woman.
Okay.
And so when we're talking about the amazing power of woman, we are X-raying the power that God has given to the female image of God.
Okay. What is this power? What does it enable them to do? And
okay, so the power is not one thing; it's a number of things.
Okay. All right.
It's a number of things. So in my book, I took 2 chapters of the book to talk about what these powers are.
Okay.
Because it's not one thing.
All right.
So I'm going to give you a few examples that tell us a little bit about, you know, what the power that God invested in the woman. She has all manner of capabilities. And a lot of women don't even know what they can do and what they are capable of doing.
Sorry, may I interject you? This is regardless of them being single or married, right? Please clarify that.
Yes, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with marital status. It has to do with being female. Okay. It has to do with being the female image of God.
All right, I hear you.
Yes, so you have that power, whether you're single or whether you're married, you've got the power.
Okay.
Now, how you use that power is what we are trying to help shape. Because when that power is not understood, when that power is abused, things go bad.
I hear you.
Things go terribly wrong. We can ask people like John the Baptist. We can ask people like Samson.
I hear you.
We can ask people like Elijah.
He ran
These
away.
were people who, yes,
without power.
These are people who came in contact with the amazing power of woman, either being used right or being abused. John the Baptist's head was cut off at the request of a woman.
Just like that.
He was murdered. He was murdered at the request of a woman. Samson was totally humiliated because of a woman. So women can be dangerous. Adam got into trouble, big trouble with God because of a woman.
The whole of humanity, we are wearing clothes as we speak.
Because of the abuse of the power that God has given to women. And what's interesting about these powers is that the devil knows about them. And the devil seeks to exploit them every opportunity he gets.
I
Every
hear you.
opportunity
I hear
he
you.
gets.
I hear you.
So
I hear
we are recipients of the abuse of that power, where people did not recognize the power they had and how to manage it. Or we are also beneficiaries of when that power has been used right.
All right,
Look at Mary. Look at Mary, the mother of Jesus.
Yes. I hear you, sir.
Yeah. Look at Elizabeth, the mother of John the Baptist. These were women who used their power wisely, and God was glorified in their use of that power. So,
I hear you.
So whether you're married, whether you're single, if you're a woman, you got the power.
I hear you.
So what is on the table right now is, are you using it well or allowing it to be abused by the enemy? So that's what.
Are you allowing it to be used or abused, not by a man, but by the devil?
Yes. So you can allow the enemy use that power, and the devil knows about it, and the devil actively seeks for opportunities to hijack it. Actively seeks for opportunities to hijack it. So when a woman doesn't know how to use it wisely, we stand a chance of the enemy hijacking, and when the enemy hijacks it, men pay for it.
I hear you.
Men pay for it. Okay.
I hear you. Okay.
Yes. All right.
So the floor is yours. You said you give us maybe a few of these examples of.
Okay. So let me share with you a few of the things that God has put inside of women. All right. So let's go to the book of the beginnings, the book of Genesis. God said, it is not good that man be alone. God said to Adam, I will make a helper suitable for him. When God was saying this, Adam had been in existence for a while. Adam was living in the garden, doing his work. His work was to tend and to keep the garden.
I hear you.
Now, the Bible says that it was not good for man to be alone. And immediately God says that all the animals in the garden were brought forward for Adam to name them. So Adam began to name all the animals. And then the next verse says, and there was not found a helper suitable for Adam. Meaning that they checked through all the animals and they could not find one that was suitable to Adam.
Okay.
So God made a plan. What was the plan? God put Adam to sleep, opened the side of his rib, and took out a rib bone and built woman. The Hebrew word there is built. She was
not just made.
Not made. Not make, no, built. The next place where that word is used is in Genesis, where they're talking about the building of the Tower of Babel. So that word is built, is the word used to build a city. A woman is such a complicated and complex being that it requires building. She was built. Okay. I see our. Okay, so the first thing I want to highlight in the power that God has given to women was after she was built. Did you notice that God did not speak to her?
Yes, I hear you.
Brought her for man to speak to her.
Okay, all right.
God did not speak to her directly. God brought her to Adam for Adam to speak to her. And the reason for that, and the first words that she heard was, this is now the bone of my bones and the flesh of my flesh, and she shall be called woman, Those were the first words that she heard. And those were the words that activated her. So one of the first thing that I want to highlight, the power that God has given to women, is the power to be voice activated.
Women are moved by what they hear.
Women are voice activated.
I hear you.
They are voice activated. So a woman must be careful who she listens to. She is stirred by the voice, by speaking. That's how she is stirred.
By words.
So a woman must control access into her heart through the ear gates.
I hear you.
Because when she doesn't do that, she stands the chance of being abused by the enemy. So the first thing I say is that she is voice activated. The next thing is that she is built from bone.
Okay. All right.
She's built from bone.
From bone.
What does it mean? Why did God choose to build her from bone? God could have built her from a fingernail, from a hair, from a piece of skin. Why?
From flesh.
Yes. Why bone? She was built from bone because by design, okay, let me take us back to a little bit of engineering.
All right.
When you are designing something, the use to which you are going to apply whatever you're designing determines the material you use to design it.
All right, I hear you.
So for instance, if you want to build a bridge, you're not going to use straw to build a bridge.
Of course not. Of course not.
You're not going to use plastic bags to build a bridge.
Of course not.
Because it will not stand. If you want to build a bridge, you're going to use concrete and steel.
Concrete and steel.
Concrete and steel. Why? Because of the load. The load that the bridge is going to carry. Only concrete and steel can deliver the capacity required to carry that kind of load. So when God wanted to build a woman, he chose bone because of the nature of the assignment and what woman is going to be doing. The woman needs to be tough and strong. She needs to be tough and strong. That's why she was built from bone. Okay. So she's built from bone and she's strong. She's not weak. People make the mistake and say the woman is a weaker vessel, a weak vessel. She's not weak.
Is the Bible that says that, isn't?
No, the Bible says she is a weaker, not weak.
Okay.
Weaker.
Right.
Is the weaker vessel. And that is in comparison with the strength of the man. We're talking about brute strength.
Brute physical. All right, I hear you.
Yes. So she's weaker than man.
In that sense.
In physical build. And the reason why she's weaker in the physical build is because she is dynamite on the inside. She's too powerful.
Velvet armor.
Yeah. So that's why. So she was built from bone because there is stuff she's supposed to carry and stuff she's supposed to deliver. Only bone can deliver it. Only bone can. Remember that bone is the strongest part of our our physical our skeleton.
Yes, our biology.
Nothing is stronger than bone. No part of the body is stronger than bone.
True.
When a body dies and decays, bones can live for thousands of years. When everything is gone, the bones remain.
No, they will be there. They are here to stay.
Yes. So that's why God built her from bone. The other thing I want to highlight is that she was thoughtfully and gloriously built. God put in quite a bit of thought in building the woman. See, the woman is so sophisticated that there is a branch of medicine that has been set aside for the study of the body of the woman. It's called gynecology. That's how complicated and sophisticated that machine is. So a branch of medicine has been dedicated to study it, and they are still studying it.
Entirely and specifically for that.
They are still studying it. I've got a number of friends who are gynecologists. In fact, one of my childhood friends is now a professor of gynecology. Okay. She tells me they are still studying it. That human physical body of a woman is still being studied globally. They have not understood all of it. That's amazing. That's how complicated and sophisticated God designed that machine. Okay, so she was thoughtfully and gloriously built. And if you follow the order in which people arrived or things arrived in the garden, did you notice that woman was the last creature that God brought into the garden?
Yes, she was.
She is the last person to come into the garden. She's the last of God's creation. The last.
Literally.
She is the last. She is the pinnacle of God's creation. She is the pinnacle of God's creation. The moment she came in, they closed the door. Nobody else came after her.
Since as humanity, we save the best for last, eh?
She is amazing. So God brought her last because she is the crown and the pinnacle of all of God's creation.
Oh, wow.
That's how powerful she is.
Oh wow.
And what that meant was the moment God was done with her, notice the next thing God did. God went to rest. God went to rest. I'm done. Once the woman is in, the job is done. Whatever is pending, she'll sort it out. I'm done. and so she is that powerful. And guess what? When she was brought to Adam, did you notice the excitement of Adam? Whoa, man. This is the flesh of my and the bone of my bones. She has the capacity to be desired, admired, and celebrated. She was designed to be admired. That's why a woman who stays in an environment where she's not admired, where she is not desired and celebrated, she dies. She shrivels on the inside because she was designed to be celebrated. She was designed to be admired. That's who she is.
I hear you.
So a man who understands that and takes time to admire her woman will get the best out of her. She flourishes and blooms in an atmosphere of celebration, admiration.
I hear
That's
you.
how she was designed.
And this
so she's like a flower. Sorry?
Sorry, I was going to say, and this is true for say the girl child being celebrated by her parents, the married woman being celebrated by the husband,
or the single girl who allows herself to be celebrated by players. It's the power, that capacity she has to be admired. It's power that she can use. And some women have used it negatively to manipulate men.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So it's one of the things. So a woman needs to know, I've got this power. I am moved by appreciation. I am moved by admiration.
Okay.
So because I am moved by admiration, I need to put a handle on myself so that I am not carried away by the flattery of deceitful men.
How can she best do that? I mean, you're being flattered. I mean, you're being spoiled. You're being celebrated.
So that's where she has to exercise self-control, not to be carried away. Remember, I told you that she is voice activated, she is voice controlled.
Yes, sir.
So when the terrible combination of admiration and words can make a woman lose control. Or she can be lured so far away because she is moving by words that she's hearing. So a woman who understands that guards her heart to know that not every admiration is genuine.
Is without malice.
Some are flattery, some are flattery, some are specifically designed for control, for manipulation. So when a woman knows her power, she protects that power because it's the power that God is giving to her to walk into a place and evoke celebration. Walk into a room
just by merely walking in.
Yes, and evoke celebration or evoke admiration. It's power that God is giving to her, and some women know how to use it and use it terribly. Yeah. All right. Let me give you another one. Let me give you another one. You know, why was she taken from the rib?
Okay.
Not from the leg. Okay, we've answered the question of bone. Why bone? We have answered it. Now, why rib bone? Why rib bone?
Of all the bones in the
of all the bones in the body, why rib bone? I'll tell you a few reasons why.
All right.
Yeah. The rib bone is the only bone that is able to regenerate itself completely if you take it out.
Okay.
So people say that man has a missing rib. It's not true. There's no missing rib.
Oh, wow.
There's no missing rib.
Wow.
If you take it out, it grows back. It's the only bone that if you take it out like that, it grows back.
Oh, wow.
So God chose a part of man to build woman from and not leave a deficit.
That's deep.
So woman is not supposed to leave a man with deficit.
Wow.
A woman is so powerful that when you invest in her, a woman who knows her power, any investment in her is an investment that brings huge returns, not leave you with the short end of the stick, not leave you with deficit. So what God is telling us there by using rib bone is woman is never meant to be a liability. She's never meant to be a burden. She's never meant to be a deficit. No, she was never designed by God to be a deficit or to be a liability. She is supposed to be an asset at all times. And if you invest in her, if you spend on her rather, you are making an investment. You're not throwing resources away. You're making an investment because it will grow back and give you more.
I hear you.
Now the rib bone covers the heart. And that's very important because it points to one of the things that God created a woman to do in the life of a man, to cover her heart, to cover his heart.
Cover his heart. Covered how? How so?
To protect the heart. So a woman has the responsibility to watch over the heart of her husband and protect it.
Okay. All right. All right.
So when a man, for instance, when a man comes back from his daily hunt and life has beaten him and life has slapped him and life has dealt with him, a woman who knows her power understands that this beaten man, this exhausted man, this drained man, I am here to replenish him.
Oh, wow.
I am here to strengthen his heart again. So a woman who knows her power knows how to do that. Tell the man who feels beaten, no, don't mind them. You will make it. You are You are the best thing that happened on the planet after Jesus Christ. I believe in you. I know you're gonna achieve that goal. And a woman can speak strength and speak encouragement and stand with her man because that's who she is. She has the capacity to regenerate. So everywhere there's depletion, she can regenerate. Both enthusiasm, both commitment. That's woman. Woman is really, really powerful.
I hear you.
Yeah, so that's why God chose the rib bone, because he was trying to communicate a lesson to us that the woman is not meant to be abused, because if you are trying to attack a rib bone, you're going to end up destroying the heart.
That's true.
Yeah. So a woman is not meant to be a liability. A woman is meant to be an asset.
I hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, another power that God gave her, why she was made from bone, rather, is that she has the power to give structure to her world.
Okay.
See, like the bone gives structure to the human body. The woman gives structure. The house is scattered until the woman comes. The house is fluid and all over the place until the woman comes. She puts the place in order. That's who she is. That's what bone is. Bone gives frame and structure to the human body. So the woman is given the grace to bring structure in an environment. Whether the environment is work or home, she has the power to create structure.
I hear you.
And then she's given the power to grow things. She grows things.
All right.
So you give her a seed. 9 months later, you got a baby boy or a baby girl coming, like the one we are expecting in the next few weeks.
Yes, sir.
What that woman received is a microscopic seed. You can't even see it with your naked eyes. It's microscopic. But 9 months later, we have a 3.2 kilogram baby coming through.
A full
so she has the
being.
power. She has the power to grow things. She grows things. So she grows dreams. She grows dreams. She grows vision. She grows plans. That's who she is. She grows things. So when a woman knows her power, she applies herself to grow things. Her husband give her seed and she grows it.
I hear you.
Yes. So let me stop there.
So I know we're running out of time. How then can a woman, how can she best realize this power for herself? How can she best maximize that? Also,
yes.
Also, I also want you to respond twofold, in the sense that also for the males, the men in our society, how then also can they best nurture that? How can they appreciate it? How can they?
The first thing is to know the power that is being given to her. See, you can have a cell phone, and you don't know 98% of what the phone can do.
I hear you.
So the same thing, a woman can carry all these capabilities and not know what they are for and how to activate them and how to use them. So the first thing is a woman needs to know the power that God has given to her.
All right.
She needs to buy this book. She needs to buy the book. To be able to know what God has given to her, she needs to buy the book. So when she has bought the book and has read the book, she'll begin to see the things God put inside of her, because that's where it starts. You need to know what you have been given. You need to understand it, and then you can harness it. If you don't know what you've been given, you can't harness it.
I hear you.
All right. Yes. So that's where Knowledge is the starting point.
Okay.
The woman needs to know what she has been given.
All right.
Yeah.
And then that's for the woman. What about for the man?
It's the same thing. A woman does isolation. She has men living around her.
Mm-hmm.
The men living around her need to know who she is, what she's capable of. That's why the men also need to buy this book. They need to know what she has been given and how to harness it. They need to know.
Okay.
There are many reasons why a man should know, because if a man doesn't know, he can fall into a trap set by a woman. Yes.
I hear you. I'm just thinking, sometime recently I was having a discussion on a certain forum, and this whole issue of this is now specifically for the married ones, but I'm sure it will apply even to those who are not married. But we were talking about the issue of submission of the wife in marriage.
That's a big one.
I know it is, but I wanted to just give me, in a summary, number one, is it possible? Okay, rather, submission seems to be an old-fashioned,
No, it's not old-fashioned. It's a biblical injunction.
I want you to.
That's the only way. That's the only way to properly harness and manage the power that God has given to the woman. When she is submitted, see, God never designed a woman to ever be outside of cover. She needs to always be submitted to cover. For the first segment of her life, she's submitted to the cover of her biological father.
I hear you.
On the day she gets married, her father walks her down the aisle and then hands her over to the groom. At that point, there's a switch in cover. The groom now becomes her cover, and her father backs off and stays away. Now, from now going forward, her husband has become her cover. God never designed a woman to be outside of cover. In fact, when you look at any society, any community that has decadence, moral decadence, the people championing and sponsoring that moral decadence are women outside of cover. Women who don't have husbands, or women who don't have fathers.
I hear you.
Yeah. So a woman was never designed to be outside of cover. So submission, let me, there's an illustration that I gave in my book to explain this.
Okay.
You see, when you go to a zoo, the only reason why you can go to a zoo and enjoy the tour of the zoo is that the animals are in cages. The lion is in a cage.
All right.
Once a lion breaks out of that cage,
it's a different story.
It's a mayhem. It's a totally different story. So, and why is that so? The reason is the lion is an extremely powerful animal. Extremely powerful animal. If that animal is not under cover of a cage, that power becomes destructive. The same thing with woman. Woman is extremely powerful. So we have to put a lion in a cage, and the lion is submitted to that cage in order to control his power and manage his power, that his power doesn't become destructive. The same way, a woman needs to be under submission so that power is controlled. That power is not hijacked by the enemy. Her father is her first cover. And then when she gets married, her husband becomes her next cover. But so a woman must stay under cover.
But then if this phenomenon, if misunderstood by the wrong males, if I can put it like that, is this not why at times we see women are being abused more and more in our society because of this notion of them supposedly being under?
No. Let me tell you why women are being abused. It is actually not the submission issue that brought the abuse.
Okay.
What brought the abuse is the fall.
All right.
Is the fall.
Okay.
Eve ate that fruit first and then gave to her husband.
Okay.
So she is still being punished till today. Different cultures, different religions are still punishing her. There's a religion that does not even allow her to come out in public without covering everything with black. There's a religion that doesn't even allow her to go to school. There are cultures that do not allow her to go to school. So a woman is still being punished.
Okay.
Because of the fall that was initiated by Eve. So it's not abuse is coming from that. That's where all abuse is coming from.
Where do we strike the balance since now Jesus Christ came and he died for us? And then,
So Jesus Christ came and set the woman free.
All right.
But she needs to know that she's been set free. The men around her need to know that Jesus has released her, and the men must respect her. So there's a whole lot of knowledge and wisdom and revelation that needs to come to both men and women.
I hear you. Lastly, I know we are spent for time. I wanted to talk about a bit about the woman in the marketplace. The 21st century has seen more women being invited in courts, if I can put it like that, or rather invading the market. Yes. How can a woman best handle herself? How can she best aspire to be the best of what God created to be in the marketplace?
Okay, so that's why if you're a woman listening to this podcast, you need to enroll in the Power of Woman Academy, our mentorship program. That's what it is for, to prepare women for leadership in the marketplace. Listen, there's an agenda, there's a prophetic agenda that God has, and he is going to use women to fulfill his program. He's going to use women. He's going to use women. Women, you're going to see several women billionaires in the next 5 to 10 years. Watch my words. Billionaires. Yeah, God is bringing women to the front.
Can we get a glimpse into this prophetic agenda thing?
The prophetic agenda is that God is going to anoint women. See, the first person that saw Jesus when he came out from the grave was woman. And there's a reason for it. God wants women in the front of what he's doing in terms of closing the age and bringing the harvest. God wants women in the forefront. That's why Jesus did not appear first to a man when he came out from the grave. He appeared to a woman. Because there's something women have to offer in the last move of God, in the final agenda of the Father for the planet. Women are critical. Both in the marketplace, in ministry, everywhere, women are critical.
I hear you say, I hear you. In the last 2 minutes that we have, what are the closing remarks that you can share with me and our listeners and our viewers?
All right, so I'm saying to every man out there, you need to know the power that God has invested in the women in your life. You need to know that power. That's why you need to order for my book. Jedediah will put out the detail how you can get that book. I'm not just trying to sell a book.
No,
I am trying to get the empowerment.
I have read the book, so I know what you're talking about.
Okay. I'm trying to get empowerment into the hands of men and women so that they know. Because if you don't know what have been given, if you don't know what you've been invested with, the enemy will hijack it and the enemy will abuse you. So that's the first thing I want to say. Both men and women need to know what that power is and how to utilize that power. Oh, yes, there's a power to stimulate, for instance, that God gave to woman. Time forbids us to go there. But there's power. So a woman who doesn't know that power and use it well the enemy hijacks it. So that's what I want to say. Every woman must press in to recognize and realize the power that God has given to them so that they can protect it and use it wisely.
I hear you. I hear you. Pastor Chooks, thank you so much. Please pass my warm greetings to Mami and Enyi. It's been a pleasure. We should do this again in the near future.
Thank you so much for having us on your platform. God bless you.
No, I receive, sir. Thank you, sir. This is Mazwi Ink. Until our next conversation, you have a good life.